Hey, English adventurers!
Welcome back, everyone.
Today we're talking about something big, why learning English is actually worth it, and what doors it opens.
Remember our episode about how to start learning English? We kind of promised we'd come back to this one day.
Today's that day. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clearer picture of what English can actually open up for you, plus a few useful phrases and words for talking about goals and opportunities.
And if this episode gets you thinking about your own reasons for learning English, share it with someone who needs to hear it too. It really helps our community grow.
So, Jack, can I ask you something? Do you remember why you actually started learning English?
Honestly, it wasn't some big decision. I just needed it eventually. Why? What about you?
For me, it goes back to my first proper trip abroad. I went with a friend, and neither of us spoke much English at all.
That sounds stressful.
It was at first. We got lost more than once, and ordering food felt like solving a puzzle. There was this one evening where we tried to order dinner using hand gestures and about 4 English words between us, and somehow the waiter still understood we wanted the same as that table, please.
That's a pretty universal travel story, honestly.
It really is, but somewhere in that trip, something clicked. We managed. We actually communicated, badly, but we did it.
And that feeling stuck with you.
Completely. That small success, realizing we could get by, just the two of us in a country where nobody spoke our language, that was addictive, in a good way. I came home and started learning properly.
Not because someone told you to.
Exactly. Nobody made me. I wanted more of that feeling, of being capable, even somewhere unfamiliar.
Independent.
That's the word for it, actually. Independent. Independent. Not relying on someone else to translate your whole life for you.
I like that. For me, it came later and slower. I didn't have one big trip. It was more practical.
Mm-hmm.
I kept seeing job listings that mentioned English as a requirement, and I kept skipping right past them, telling myself that wasn't for me.
Until you couldn't skip past them anymore.
Exactly. At some point, ignoring it just meant closing doors before I'd even tried opening them.
I think that's true for a lot of people, actually. The reason isn't always a big adventure. Sometimes it's just noticing a door that was closed before.
And travel was your door.
Travel and, honestly, just trusting myself in a new place. Both, really.
My door was work, like I said. At first, it was small things. An email in English here, a call there. Then it became clear that without it, certain roles just weren't available to me.
That's such a common story, though. English at work isn't optional anymore in a lot of industries.
No, and it's not just bigger companies either. Even smaller local jobs sometimes expect at least basic English now.
Funnily enough, that's actually when it really hit me, too. Later than my travel story. I'd been learning casually for years, but it was a promotion at work that made me realize how much more English could actually do for me.
Same idea, different timing.
Exactly. The travel gave me the first push. The job gave me the real reason to keep going.
Which makes sense when you think about how much international communication happens by default in English.
Exactly. And it's not just about getting a job, it's about which jobs are even an option for you in the first place.
That's the real shift, I think. Not you need English for this one job, but English decides which doors you can even try opening.
And it's not slowing down either. If anything, it's speeding up because of something else now, too.
AI.
Right. Most of the best tools, the newest updates, the deepest explanations, they show up in English first, sometimes only in English.
I've noticed that. Even asking an AI assistant something complicated, the answers often feel more natural, more detailed in English. I tried asking the same question in 2 languages once, just to compare.
And?
The English answer was longer, clearer, and honestly just more useful. Not because a tool is biased on purpose, just because that's where most of the training material lives.
It's a strange kind of advantage when you think about it, being able to ask better questions and get better answers just because of which language you type in.
Which loops right back to what we said earlier, English deciding which doors are even available to you. In this case, quite literally which answers.
So now it's not just jobs, it's staying current with basically anything new.
which is honestly a bit intimidating if you think about it.
It can be, but it's also kind of exciting. It means learning English isn't just useful for the job you have now, it's useful for whatever comes next, too.
A skill that keeps paying off instead of one you learn once and forget. And that's a strange kind of motivation, actually. Most things we learn have a finish line. This one doesn't, and somehow that makes it feel more worth it, not less.
But I think all of this, jobs, opportunities, tools, none of it really works without something else underneath it.
Confidence.
Exactly. You can know the words, know the grammar, and still freeze up the moment someone actually asks you something.
I definitely had that. Knowing English on paper and actually using it out loud in front of someone felt like two completely different skills.
They kind of are, honestly. And I think a lot of people today are naturally more reserved anyway. reserved, meaning quieter, less likely to speak up first. Not everyone wants to walk up to strangers and start chatting.
True. So it's less about becoming outgoing and more about just not shutting the conversation down too early. I think about it like standing at a party where everyone's speaking a language you barely know. Most people just nod and smile from the corner.
That's exactly the scene. And the difference between staying in that corner all night or actually talking to someone usually comes down to one sentence, just one.
That's actually one of our favorite ideas on this podcast. Stay one sentence longer. That's where confidence grows.
I remember that one. It's simple, but it actually works. Instead of just saying fine or good, you add one more sentence.
And that one extra sentence is often the difference between a conversation ending and a conversation actually starting.
Which sometimes leads to something bigger than you expected.
Like friends around the world?
Exactly like that. I wouldn't say it happens for everyone, and it doesn't have to, but for some people, that one extra sentence with a stranger turns into an actual friendship.
It's not guaranteed, and I don't think anyone should learn English just hoping for that, but it is a real possible outcome, connections you wouldn't have had otherwise. I still message people I met on that first trip, actually, years later.
That says a lot, honestly. A whole friendship that only exists because neither of you gave up after the first awkward sentence.
And even without new friends specifically, just having the confidence to try, that already changes how you move through the world.
It does. Confidence isn't really about becoming a different person. It's about not letting silence be your only option.
There's a lighter side to all this too, by the way. Not everything has to be about jobs or courage. Some of it's just snacks and subtitles.
Very deep, Jack.
I contain multitudes. Movies and books, though, that's a real one.
I love this one, actually. Watching something in its original language without waiting for subtitles or a translation that never quite captures the joke properly.
Jokes really do get lost sometimes, don't they? I watched the comedy with subtitles once, and the whole cinema laughed except me. The joke just hadn't survived the translation. I sat there like I'd missed a memo everyone else got.
That's such a specific kind of disappointment.
It really is. Once I could follow the original dialogue, entire shows felt like completely different experiences. Even the actor's timing makes more sense. The pause before a punchline, the way someone hesitates on purpose.
I noticed that with a series I watched recently. In the dubbed version, a whole scene just felt flat. Then I watched it again in English, and suddenly it was one of my favorite moments in the whole show. I may have rewatched it 3 times, purely for research.
Purely for research, sure.
Subtitles get you the meaning. The original language gets you the feeling.
And books are the same. A writer-specific voice, their rhythm, a lot of that lives in the original language, not really in a translation. I've had that with poetry especially. Some lines just don't survive being translated. The rhythm breaks, the wordplay disappears completely.
So English opens up entertainment, basically. Not in a small way either, an enormous amount of what's out there.
And that leads pretty naturally into something bigger too. The internet in general.
Right, so much of it defaults to English. Tutorials, courses, forums, explanations for basically anything you want to learn.
Which means English doesn't just help you learn English.
It helps you learn everything else, too.
Cooking, coding, guitar, whatever it is, the amount of material available multiplies once English isn't a barrier anymore. I taught myself basic photo editing purely from English tutorials because the ones in my own language barely existed.
How'd that go, honestly?
Let's just say my first attempts looked like a crime scene.
That's such a normal experience now, searching something and realizing the only good explanation is in English.
It's like unlocking an entire library instead of just one shelf of it.
And once you've unlocked that shelf, you don't really go back, do you?
No, you just keep finding more doors you didn't know were there. Very on brand for this episode, actually.
I think that's honestly the whole idea behind this episode when you put it all together. The doors thing.
Exactly. Every example we've mentioned today, the trip, the job, the confidence, the movies, the internet, they're really all just different doors.
And I guess English is what opens them.
Or keeps them closed if we're honest. Closed answers, closed doors. Open answers, open doors.
It sounds almost too simple to be true.
Most useful ideas do, honestly. That's usually a sign they're actually true, not a sign they're wrong, or a sign that I'm about to repeat it a third time, which, fair warning, I might.
Go on then.
Closed answers, closed doors. If all you ever say is fine, good, yes, the conversation closes, and so does whatever might have come from it.
But an open answer, one sentence longer.
Keeps the door open. Sometimes just a little, sometimes a lot more than you expected.
So really that's the whole idea we keep coming back to on this podcast.
It is. Stay one sentence longer. It's not just a nice sentence for us to say. It's genuinely, practically what opens most of these doors we talked about today. The trip that started it, the job that kept it going, the confidence that made it possible, even the friendships and the shows and the tutorials along the way.
When you put it like that, it's less about English as a subject and more about which version of your life it lets you actually live.
That's exactly it. Not a school subject, a set of doors.
And honestly, you don't need to open all of them at once.
No, just the next one sentence at a time. Preferably not about photo editing.
So, dear listeners, here's what we wanted to show you today through everything we talked about. The trip, the job, the confidence, the movies, the internet.
We wanted you to see why starting this English adventure actually matters, and honestly, in some way, why it's worth it for almost everyone.
All different doors, all opened the same simple way. One sentence longer.
Which is actually the perfect place to leave you with a few phrases.
A few worth taking with you. Something clicked for that moment when things suddenly make sense.
Stay current, keeping up with what's new, especially with something changing fast, like AI.
Freeze up when you know what to say but can't get the words out in the moment.
Unlock a door. That's one from today too, for that feeling of suddenly being able to reach something you couldn't before.
And the one we keep coming back to, obviously, stay one sentence longer. If you remember nothing else from today, remember that one.
Which, funnily enough, brings us right back to where this whole episode started. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It genuinely helps us reach more English learners around the world. Thank you so much for that.
And if you haven't heard our episode on how to start learning English yet, that one pairs perfectly with this one. Go check it out next.
Thank you for spending this time with us today and for staying one sentence longer with us, in a way, by listening this far.
See you next time, English adventurers.